Hey everyone, this is going to be the first game I play with the Mech, Taura Mech Taura deck. Taura hasn't been seen a ton of play, which is a little unfortunate, but I think that someone will find a deck that utilizes her Bloodborne spell well. Coming up, I just think it hasn't really popped up yet. And Fae is such a powerful Bloodborne spell that it's going to see play pretty often. Just because of its power level, not any knock on Taura's itself. So here I have a few options. I think the safest. I really want to utilize the wings to steal a mana tile, but instead I just go with kind of the safer play of just chromatic holding the packs and just taking the mana tile in front of me. I'll be able to play the, chassis next turn. Using your chromatic hold in this matchup is always a little bit risky because there's so many targets that you really need to hit, especially the obelisks, especially the Fireblaze obelisks. You really want to have those in the tank. But Pax is a little bit difficult for us to deal with this early without it, just because it's going to create a couple more bodies and they can trade well into our mechs. So I'm just going to take that out. So here my opponent gets a decent attack of playing the Tiger and into a one attack creature, which is always nice, but dealing the 3 damage to us doesn't do a ton here. I'm not sure if clearing our wings was really that important. I don't know what other plays they had, but I think this allows us to develop pretty cleanly. We're at 22, which is not a really threatening life total, and we kind of seizing the tempo back because we got to play a 4 mana minion onto an empty board. So I think we're very happy with the situation we were able to get out of there. Opponent's able to utilize the mana tile. And unfortunately, Mech is blocked off from actually getting over there. And I believe I just made the play of replacing the chromatic hold, which I just went on about how important it is. And the situation I'm in is this, and this is why I made that decision, was because the Mech, we need to hit that critical max on mechs. We've played 2, we have 1 in hand, we really need to draw 2 more. Because I think that's going to be how we win, because we really don't have any other minions. We don't really have any other win conditions right in our hand. The Frigid Corona is a card draw. So if we were to be able to get some value out of it and draw a card, it helps us cycle to our mechs fast, so we can replace. It basically gives us an extra replace, which, since we're helping to dig for mechs, that's important. The Night Watcher is very, very good against Vitruvian, especially the Dervish version, because they have a very difficult time actually killing it, or dealing with it in any way, because of the force field and because they don't have ranged dispels. So that's why I chose to replace the Chromatic Hold, and I think it might have been a mistake. I think I probably should have replaced this, but, these are how we learn, just kind of by looking back at our plays and kind of re-examining them. So right here I have a couple options, but I can't play 2 minions in a turn. Playing the Concealing Shroud doesn't really help. I could stun the packs, but that doesn't get us very far. So I'm trying to play the Night Watcher in a safe place, because it basically shuts off this obelisk, because it exhausts the Dervish right away, which means that even if you kill the Night Watcher on that turn, the Dervish doesn't actually gain rush again. It's instantly exhausted, so it can't do anything. Now I think what I should have done right here was actually move this back, which would have allowed me to protect the Night Watcher a little bit, and have the packs just sort of run into my face. But I was a little bit nervous about my life total. So I get the Night Watcher dispelled, which is unfortunate, but I still bought myself a turn off this Dervish, and they had to use a dispel, which is pretty high cost for them. Using a dispel is not what they're looking to do. Because we do have, the Mechazor that they may want to dispel later, so we were able to kind of not bait it out, because it was probably the right play by them, but make them, it's not always a waste, but it's still something. You're still drawing out resources. I mean, the game is often a game of attrition, so it's not always a waste, but if you can get them to use it in one situation, they won't have it later. So we're lucky enough to draw another chromatic gold. So I'm going to use this on the Fireblaze Obelisk, and they placed this obelisk in a pretty far away position. So my thought is that if I am able to sort of run to this corner, I will be able to kind of negate this obelisk without having to deal with it directly. And since this one's dispelled, these go back to 2/2s, which make them a bit less threatening. And now I'm at 3 Mechazor progress, so I need to draw 2 more. I have the cannon, but cannon isn't very exciting past like turn 1. It's often hard to get into position, and Falcius gives them a really clean way to kill this. And they would be at 10 health if they had, if they had to trade into this with their general. So saving that 5 life is very significant because it allows them to pull ahead in this race, especially if they're able to just kind of zerg their dervishes into my face and then produce another one. So right here, I believe I actually just misclick because my intention right here is to stun the Falcius and then trade this off here, but I actually just sort of click on the wrong minion, and I draw the Blood Taura. So at this point, I'm kind of looking at maybe getting some kind of combo with the Spirit of Wild and the Blood Taura. So I'm going to start trading a little bit aggressively. I'm still 1 mech away, which is good, because we still have that out, but I'm not going to be replacing these to try to draw mechs. So since this is stunned, I feel like dealing with this is more important. And basically to pull off this combo to, hit it in 1 turn, and since I'm on the opposing side of the board, any range around, if my opponent gets further than here, I'll have issues. But if my opponent stays in this area, I can just place it down and then run it over. So I need to be at 4 life for it to work on turn 9, and if I want to try to do it on my next turn, turn 8, I need to get down to 3 life, which is very dangerous. It's hard to kind of straddle that line of being very low life, but also, not being dead. And here, I think I get down to 2 life. So we actually are able to get right down to the edge. And we just pop this down, pop the Blood Taura, and Spirit of the Wild gives us a very sneaky victory. So we had a pretty good game, and you actually got to see the kind of secondary win condition in action. And I think we actually could have won in a couple ways. Even without the Blood Taura, we might have been able to Razorback. We would have shot for 5, and then Spirit of the Wild 10, 14. I think we actually had the win without the Blood Taura once we drew the Razorback, serendipitously. But we had the kind of the flashier win, so I went for that. So we'll come up with a few more games. I think I have 4 recorded so far.